What's good, everybody? What is good? It is Big Game James, man. I'm back in the building. You know, we started our interviews back up. I had an awesome interview with my guy, Kobe Williams. Go check him out of Mississippi. 6'6" offensive tackle. He's making a come up, man. A lot of teams are kind of looking at him. He got a first offer from Colorado. He's going to be a who's who coming up, and man, we're just excited about that. But guess what? I got my guy on here, my dog out of here. You feel me? I'm feeling good, my dude, Jake Darling. We came out of here. We talked in June. My guy, 6'3", 250-pound man from San Marcos, Texas, doing this thing. But you know, I'm gonna let him explain a little bit, and then we'll jump in this interview. First of all, how you doing, Jake? Give a little bit of background before we jump in here and talk about your season and your great signing.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've had a really productive season. Finished off with 8 sacks, 335 TFLs, and was very productive on the defensive side of the ball this year. Splitting time at both middle linebacker and defensive end, and a little bit of stand up. So I got to, be used kind of as a chess piece. Kind of modeled my game after Micah Parsons this year. Came up a little short in our first during the first round playoffs, but other than that, I mean, I felt like we had a good season. Lots of controversy and lots of setbacks, but at the end I felt like we rose above all that things.
Well, I mean, that's first of all, that's awesome. You know, how your season turned out, how you did this season. Let's talk about, we had our interview and that was in June, and we talked about, some of your strengths and some things that you felt like you wanted to work on. One of your things that you said was your strengths was your motor, and I got to see your tape. Matter of fact, I played plenty of your highlights on my channel. You were a monster. I got a lot of feedback. Like, who is this kid, man? This dude is relentless, bro. Like, you was really coming off that edge, like you were talking about the relentless style that you were saying. It was really coming out. But some things that you said you wanted to kind of work on. You said you wanted to work on your flexibility. You said you wanted to work on those type of things. Playing some middle linebacker and some stand-up. Do you think you accomplished some of those things during the season?
No, yes, sir, for sure. I felt like a lot of the things I worked on the offseason did show up this year. When I was kind of bending that corner, it kind of felt more natural this year. Last year, I felt a little bit stiff, but this year it felt a lot more fluid. And honestly, it helped me out, like with whether I was off the edge or I was blitzing. So, I felt like I accomplished that goal for sure.
Nice. Now, you said you had 35 tackles for loss.
Yes, sir. I did.
That means you were up in that backfield all day. That's that relentless style. Like, I was like, are we hearing that correctly? 35 tackles for loss. That means he was just eating up in them backfields all day, folks. And I told y'all, go watch the tape again, because I'm gonna show another one, because he's out there going crazy. And so now, you were playing that edge, and you said you felt a little more stiff last year, and it said you felt more fluid. But what I want to talk about a little bit is that middle linebacker, and you played some stand up. Now, do you feel like your coaches maybe put you in that position because you were heading into college, and maybe some of that you were going to be seeing in college, or maybe you would have played that? Do you think your high school coaches kind of catered to that in a way, or is it something that just kind of happened?
I felt like it was kind of a happened kind of scenario. Harvard wants me to play more of a hand in the dirt defensive end, 3-point stance, coming off the edge. But however, they have a special package that's a 3-4. So I felt like what I did this year is going to help cater the playing a 4-3 and a 3-4, being that outside guy on a 3-4, playing that stand-up outside linebacker, but also playing that 4-3 hand in the dirt style DN. So, I mean, really, like, just how we play as a defense, and how our defensive coordinator, Coach Kleiber, kind of coordinated everything with all these different moving pieces, and trying to disguise our zones, and disguising our blitzes, and disguising like who's in the run and who's dropping back in coverage. I felt like it all worked together perfectly for my next steps.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you're saying you're standing up. Now, do you like playing? I mean, because you said you model your game after Michael Parsons, and we know he's a versatile player, but he gets a lot of pass rushing snaps, especially lately. But the thing that we love about Micah is that he can play that linebacker position. You can move him around, just like you said, like a chess piece. How did it really feel standing up and being able to do that this year? Because you didn't do it last year. So, what was the challenges for you, in your opinion, standing up than being your hand in the dirt like it was the year prior?
Really, for me, it's like the get off. Like for me, I feel like I'm more like loaded like in a spring position when I'm on the ground. But this year I've been working on loading my front foot rather than my back foot, kind of 70% of my weight in my front foot and 30% in my back, and just really like first step trying to gain a yard. That's all. That was my mentality the whole entire time. But the hardest part about being a stand-up is definitely playing your run fit because if you have like a pulling guard or like maybe a tight end like kicking you out from the backside, that's sometimes really hard to read because your momentum's going so much forward rather than if you're in a 4-point stance. It's more like out. It's more like up and out, like a 45 towards the your defender, kind of reading him like that, like so. But I made sure to use that 2-point stance, especially in like third and long conversion downs. Like when they're trying to big passing downs, like second and long, third and long, maybe even 4th and 5, 4th and long, just like conversion downs like those where, they're trying to take a shot down the field. I would just stand up and just whine out a little bit and then see what the tackle got. That was really how it is. Take them, little dancey dance. Take them, you and me on an island. That's kind of how
exactly. Hey, well, first of all, like I said, I've had a few players on here interviewed, and I told you you're one of my top guys as far as the football knowledge, impeccable football study, film study, anticipating, knowing where your player, your opposition plays, foot setting, things of that nature. That's really going to help you. It's like you're a step ahead, and I really love listening to you when you break down the game like that. It's really exciting. Now, you've been defense. You said you're going to put the hand in the dirt on defense when you're going to Harvard. Have you considered ever playing any kind of offense, tight end, anything like that? Or are you strictly going to be defense as you head to college?
My defensive line coach, it's been a blessing because he's also been my area recruiting coach. He really loves me at DN, but however, if they have to move me out, wherever they want me to play is where I'm going to do. Like
right.
I feel like I'm very versatile. I did play a lot of tight end last year. I played a little bit this year. If they need to use me in any any fashion, like on offense, I'm totally down with that. But I feel like they really like me as a defensive end, and I think that's the direction I'm going to go.
And I really like it. Like I said, you're a relentless player. Now, headed into college, and we're going to talk about the recruitment, signing with Harvard and things of that nature. But headed into college, what's things, since you stood up a little bit this year, you played in the 2-point stand, you played some middle linebacker, but you said your hands going to be in the dirt. Heading into college, what do you think you want to work on? Obviously, you haven't seen the college scene yet, but it's going to be different. Obviously, it's going to be different. So what do you think you want to kind of work on in this offseason as you prep for school?
Explosiveness, 100%. The next every next level, it's always everyone's bigger, faster, stronger, more explosive. But if I get that explosiveness piece down, and like if my get off's really fast, and if I strike first, strike fast, then I feel like I'll have that advantage coming right off the bat, maybe make a big impact.
Yes. And now young players nowadays, back in my day coming up, they weren't playing freshmen and sophomores. They weren't doing that. Y'all were sitting the bench and y'all were waiting your turn. Now you guys are coming in instantly and be able to make an impact early. Is that what you kind of set your eyes set on? Like, hey, I want to come in and I want to compete early and I want to get on that field early.
Yes, sir. No, 100%. I want to definitely, first time I step on that field, it's competition. I want it. It's my turn to eat. I definitely don't want to wait my turn, but however, I'll do what's best for the team, but I'm ready to compete, 100% when I get on that field.
Nice. Now let's talk about Harvard in itself. The recruitment, you were getting recruited by schools. Harvard, you signed with them. I was super excited when I seen you sign with them, man. Tweeted it everywhere. What kind of led up to Harvard being one of the finalists, and what kind of led you with signing them?
Yeah, no, for sure. I felt like for the D-line position, they've really developed their players really well. 3 all first team all Ivy League guys on the D-line, and co-defensive player of the year was our captain who played left defensive end. So I just felt like, Coach Ho, who does the D-line, he really develops them really well. And also academics, second to none. It's just the best out there. And I felt like no matter if my future is in football or it's going to be, in the real world, in the business world, then, I'm going to be set.
Well, we definitely know that. Now, I was looking at a few things before we talk a little bit more, but I don't know anything about no daggone Harvard, bro. Okay, first of all, Harvard, you know what I'm saying? Harvard grades, okay, but you know what? Here's the thing about the Ivy League schools: they have made a transition because, and once again, I'm a little bit older. When I was coming up, nobody was talking about Ivy League schools, at least playing in the NFL, things of that nature. It was always business guys. These are football players playing in suits, but that has changed. Okay, that there has been a change. Take for instance Cameron Brake, tied in with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Anthony Ferguson, if I said that correctly, another tight end with the Atlanta Falcons, and Kyle Juszczyk, if I said that, I might have tore it up, for the San Francisco 49ers, and Tyler Ott. So that's 4 active players in the NFL from the University of Harvard. So there's opportunities there for that to happen. Did that kind of jump in your head, or did you ever kind of think about that when you were committed to Harvard as well?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and also this year, both the running back Indy and Aiden Bourget and Truman Jones are both going to be definitely going to both be drafted for sure. 2 really solid guys for the Harvard team this year, and yeah, that was a big part of my decision. How these coaches develop these players into great football players, and having that opportunity to play at the next level.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing I was going to say too, when I was looking at this, see, I don't know nothing about this. My grades weren't no Harvard type grades. Okay. But I seen here, man, GPA requirements for Harvard. Okay. This is just wild to me. Most students admitted to Harvard have an unweighted GPA of 4.18 or above. So you'll need at least a 4.2 to even have some serious consideration. Dog, that's crazy in my eyes. Like when I hear something like that, 4.2, what? To even have consideration, bro, that's amazing, because I also heard you were first team all state, academic all state, if I'm not correct.
Yes, sir.
All right.
100%.
So how does that also feel, man, that you are the true essence of the student athlete?
It feels great. Yeah. I mean, when I took my official visit this weekend, I felt like I really belonged. Like everyone's really like-minded. Athletes, can take care of school too. Something I'm not really used to having, but I felt like I really belonged up there. So, I was really excited to know that, I'm not the only one, on this narrow path, and that there's a lot of guys, a lot of brothers that can join my side next year. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, man, and we're definitely going to be following your career as you headed to Harvard. What are you actually majoring in as you head to school?
I'm going to be an econ major.
Okay, all right. And what do you think that you would like to do with that outside of that?
Yes, sir. I'm thinking about investment banking.
Nice, investment banking. So, is it something that, because I think me and you talked a little bit earlier, that you want to kind of do your own thing? Is that still the kind of idea, or what do you kind of, is it you want to fit with a business? Have you kind of have any thoughts with that so far?
Yes, sir. No, I definitely would like to start, starting like being a part of like a major corporation like Goldman Sachs or something like that, or maybe like
Okay.
Fidelity.
Nice, nice, nice. Now, actually, I don't know too much about Harvard. Where's Harvard located? And give us a little bit of a background about Harvard, because a lot of people don't know about Ivy League schools, especially on the gridiron and academics. So, what's was it the Ivy League? Were there other Ivy League teams that you were liking as well? Was that kind of maybe the way you were headed, was the Ivy League?
Yes, sir. I had 6 of the 8 Ivy Leagues recruit me throughout this whole process,
Uh-huh.
and there was a really big camp that I partook in at
Okay.
Trinity University in San Antonio that had Trinity, Rice, and then all the other 8 Ivy Leagues. So I
Hmm.
was talking to them all at the time. Got to show my face in front of them. I've taken 5 visits to 5 different Ivy Leagues, and that was definitely a path I wanted to go to because the opportunities are endless.
Yes, definitely. I mean, you do the right thing, Jake. You're pretty much set. I mean, and that's pretty awesome. Like I said, salutes to you from everybody I know, because it's not easy out there. Especially, first of all, to get into a Ivy League school. I mean, that's badass. I'm gonna excuse my language, but that's just badass. That's a lot of young men are out there are not doing that out there, and to give you out there how you're doing it on both levels is a salute from me. Now, before we kind of of head off here, obviously, let's give a big shout out to your mother and father. They're huge support, especially your mother, man. Great supporter of you. But let's talk about, the family. Your sister, she's turning up soccer wise. Do you want to kind of give any of this kind of shout outs to them before we kind of head off here as well?
No, yes, sir. She hungry. That just
she hungry. I've been seeing her working out like 6 in the morning, hungry.
No, yeah, she is. She on the rise. She's next up for sure. She she's been out working everyone, hardest worker. I've known at her age. She's just lining it up, and I'm excited for this year watching her grow and mature as a young athlete, young D1 prospect. She's gonna tear it up. She has a lot of major showcases coming up in January, February. And I'm just really excited for her.
Yeah, man. I like I said, I was excited seeing her training and like that. That's that dedication that you want, and that's how you be great. And I can see it in the family, how the pushing, the driving, and just to be great is there. Any shout outs to maybe some high school coaches along the way that helped you strengthen anything before we kind of head off here? Any few shout outs?
Yeah, of course. Shout out my head coach, John Walsh. He gave me this opportunity at San Marcos High School to, do my thing, be me. Gave me the opportunity which is what I really needed. And, he helped me grow, gave me that insight that I needed when it came down to like what college coaches are looking for in defensive ends. Big shout out to my defensive coordinator, Coach Kleiber. 6:30 in the morning film studies for like the past 2 years, been really helping with my football IQ. And he's taught me a lot of really good techniques at both the stand-up and hand to the ground and linebacker positions. And shout out my brother Hunter. He pushed me today. We just got back from a workout. We were just grinding in my garage gym. Shout out to him, hardest worker I know. About to get his shot soon after his recovery. Shout out my mom and dad for always sticking by my side, taking me all across the country to compete, and all these visits I've taken. So shout out to them. Shout out to my trainers, JC and Tuck. JC's my D-line trainer who's been in game sharpening my skills. And shout out to Tuck for getting me really fast and getting me really explosive and helping me with my quick twitch muscles so I can get off the edge really fast. And that's pretty much it.
Hey man, that's beautiful, and shout out to Tuck out there as well, man, doing his thing, getting you guys right.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I just want to give you one last huge shout out, Jake, man. It's been a pleasure to come across and meet you. It's been a pleasure to follow you during your high school senior season. Just from my opinion, I'm really think you have a chance to go to the NFL. I'm not just saying that just because we're on here and it sounds real good. I really do feel like you have the opportunity. You have a relentless style. You already have the size and the measurables, and I believe and the league that you're playing is going to give you a big look because I feel like defensive ends haven't been a lot of defensive ends coming out of Ivy League schools. I remember Marcellus Wiley played with the Dallas Cowboys. He came out of Columbia, I believe, and he was a guy that turned up. You know what I mean? So I want to see you, man. I want to really see you get there, bro. I want to see you. Of course, I want to see you do your business thing. I want to see you make it to the league, big dog, for real.
Yes,
I want to see you want to make that Harvard defensive end, Harvard, Jake Dart. No, I'm already getting. Let's talk about it because it's about. Let's throw it in the air. But I really appreciate you, man. The best of luck to you. We're going to stay in touch. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can get an interview when you're in school, college, you know what I mean? So we can check out your college career because we really want to follow it and we want to really salute you and support you all the way through. So for anything else, myself, Big Game James, Mr. Jake Darling, University of Harvard signee, about to